to motion block example, concurrent axis homing. Most incremental motion control systems need to establish their positions before they can be used. That process of establishing a position is typically called homing. Imagine that we have a three-axis mechanism. We have an x-axis in this direction, a y-axis in this direction, and then vertically below we have a z-axis, a beam that's reaching down into a workspace that's below the machine. It's necessary to home the machine from any condition that it might be in. So in order to safely home the machine, we have to move first the z-axis up and out of the way, which is in the negative direction. And once the z-axis is out of the way, we then have the freedom to send both the y and the x to their home sensors concurrently. So we would like to be able to do this efficiently, to overlap the operations where they can, but to preserve the necessary sequence to make sure that z is out of the way first before doing the x and y homing. Let's examine how this would be done with blocks. The first thing we would like to do is to define a procedure for homing the z. Home z. To home the z, we'll turn the motor on. We'll set an acceleration and a decel suitable for the z, and then we'll have the z-axis jog in the negative direction until its home sensor trips. So we will wait until we have isolated input number 3 for the z-axis. And when that sensor trips, we'll stop the motion, and then we will set the actual position of the z to be 0. So that would be the operations necessary to home z. Now let's make a block similar to that for homing x and y. The operations are very similar. I'm just going to duplicate this entire set of blocks and just change my axis reference here. I'll also have to change my input to number 2 for y. And similarly for x. That will now be the x-axis. And I'll use input number 1 for my home sensor for x. So there are my 3 homing procedures. So I would like to do one more action, perhaps in response to an input, I will home the mechanism. So on event signal number 4, I will home the z first, but I would like to have the x and y home together. So I will begin a list of activities, homing the x and homing the y. So at this point, these two would be run together. Within the begin task construct, those activities are all done at the same time. I don't want to do anything else until I'm done, so I'll now wait for both of those tasks to finish. So this has achieved the goal of first homing the z, and then subsequently homing x and y concurrently, waiting for both tasks to be finished before going on to the next operation.